Welcome, Sagittarius, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 11th of March for the Sun, the Ascendant, and if you choose, the Moon too. On the screen now, I'm showing the event chart for when the week begins. The big takeout is that Mercury, the planet of communication, has darted into your sister fire sign of Aries. That's really welcome, because last week it was combining with Neptune, and you may have found in the last few days of last week that your emotional energy felt very depleted. Things that usually you may have shrugged off may have been really quite draining, and also because Mars and Uranus were in such an intense right angle, which came into an exact square on Saturday, you may have felt quite aggravated and stressed out with some of those emotions that were there. So Mercury moving into your fifth house is an opportunity to bring some levity, some playfulness, because Mercury in the fourth house is, it's very, very difficult to stop ideas going around our mind. It's quite inward. It's not a very outgoing influence for a planet which is very much to do with the message. So the messenger moves into a much more elementally positive area for you. So some of that frustration at the end of last week can make way. Now Mercury is also forging a terrific link as the week begins with Pluto. So you can be sure that this week gives you a chance to articulate yourself with a lot of passion and a lot more clarity, because Pluto in your third house is about everyday ideas, but it's your beliefs. But the enthusiasm that comes from Mercury in the fifth house, which is almost very Leonian, but with that fire. So you're going to be much more on form as this week begins. But the energy of the new moon in your sector of home, emotion, family, feelings is still percolating into this new week, but that forged an angle to Uranus. But that wasn't a bad angle. It's kind of saying that if you can change things up at home to create more space, Uranus, declutter, Uranus back to the Sun and the Moon in the fourth house, along with Neptune and Saturn, of how it feels, but how your home is structured, then some fresh approaches to your home can make you feel better too. But as this week begins, you can see from the wheel that Venus is just getting to the end of its journey through Aquarius, and on Monday the 11th it moves into to Pisces too. The difference is that as much as Mercury really hates being in Pisces, Venus thrives here. So its direct replacement, if you like, has an opportunity for you to bring some charm to your home. So if you have done some sorting out, moved things around, got rid of things you don't really need, what Venus can do now is help you to beautify it. So if you're looking to decorate or buy some new home furnishings, or if you're in the south to work on your garden, then in the southern hemisphere, then Venus is great for that. It can also be a good time to get together with family members as well. But Mars and Uranus are still just about in touch through to the middle of the week. So there could still be a little bit of a sense of too much energy and not knowing quite what to do with it, but then actually not having that much energy. So that kind of stuff. But then as the week goes on, the Sun applies to Neptune in a conjunction. There's a cazimi that occurs on Sunday, but it's a cazimi that squares up to the quarter moon in Gemini, your seventh house. So it means that there could be a little bit of confusion as this week draws to a close. Perhaps you could find yourself playing the peacemaker between two friends who aren't seeing eye to eye. Maybe you're unsure about exactly what you want around your emotional home life. Do you want to move? Do you want to add to the family? Do you want to downsize? Do you really want to buy that new kitchen in that colour? Or do you actually want to do something completely different with your money? So some of those questions could be playing around with that particular quarter moon, but then you have to relate it out to others. So the emotional part of your situation, which is coming from the Sun, as I mentioned, Venus at the start of this week, initially the Moon before it moves into Aries, Saturn and Neptune, all that fourth house energy is still very, very strong this week. But I feel that whereas the end of last week was very aggravating, very exhausting. I think the latter part of this week, you're going to feel that things are moving, but it's all preparing you for when the sun thrusts into Aries on the 20th, and that's the start of the astrological year. But for you, it's brilliant because the fifth house, which the sun in Aries is about, really is your time to get really moving forwards at quite a rapid pace. So at the moment, it is still about coming to terms with some feeling issues, some environmental issues, some family stuff, sorting things out a little bit, but you're just preparing the way for you to turn on the afterburner from the 20th of March. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand more serious astrology, check out my special chart offer. You can get your forecast and your character analysis for 30% off. Searing insights, totally unique to you. Please see the link beneath this video for more.